Welcome to One Take O Movie Reviews. I'm Barbara.
And I'm David. I'm here to tell you that we're doing this mainly for our own benefit and our own good time.
For entertainment.
Our coronavirus
Something to do.
thing to do. So it's not professional. It's not maybe even that good, but we're enjoying it. So I guess it serves its purpose.
But I do want to say, I would be interested to know if anybody watches these. So if you would just comment down below where you found it, we would be interested. And if you want to like it and subscribe, that's fine too. But we would just be interested to know where you found us and how you found us.
And tonight we're continuing our series of Humphrey Bogart movies. And tonight's movie is called All Through the Night. It was a 1942 movie, and starring along with Bogey were Kaaren Verne
and Phil Silvers,
William Demarest,
and Jackie Gleason,
and Peter Lorre.
Yeah.
And the story is kind of Bogey plays a small-time New York gambler.
He's a kind of a boss of he's got a driver and a couple of sidekicks and all that, and he kind of runs the show, and his name is Gloves Donahue because he always wears gloves.
And this story kind of begins his baker. He eats cheesecake only from one place, Miller's Bakery, and his baker is murdered. And
his mother lives above the bakery, and he's very honoring to his mother, and he really coddles her and takes care of her, and she called him and said that Mr. Miller had disappeared, and they came right over. So,
and they discover that he's been murdered, and so the storyline continues on, and they begin to track down a Nazi spy ring that is operating in New York City.
And we found it interesting that they called it the fifth column. And if you don't know what the fifth column is, you need to look that up. We were very interested to find out. We weren't even taught that like in school, grade school or high school. I'd never heard of it before. But it is the infiltration of the enemy into a land that they want to overtake. And anyway, so it was a Nazi ring of saboteurs. So,
and a couple of more interesting things about that. We found out Kaaren Verne in the movie is German-born, and in fact, in 1938, she fled Nazi Germany. So she's the starring female in this movie. And some other things you learned about.
Yeah, Mr. Miller, the baker, he was also a German refugee, and he had starred in movies in Germany before he came to America. And then he starred in movies, or not, he was an actor in movies in America. He even also was in the movie Casablanca with Humphrey Bogart. Anyway, and he was, like I said, he was a German refugee. And also there's a scene where there are a whole bunch of Germans meeting, in an underground meeting, and they're planning to blow up a battleship. Anyway, all of these Germans in the movie were refugees who had left Germany to escape Hitler. And it was kind of ironic that they were in this scene and they were all saluting Hitler and everything as part of the movie.
Yeah, that was a really interesting part of that. And there was a funny part too where they, both William Demarest and Humphrey Bogart in that meeting downstairs, that they speak gibberish because they're supposed to be speaking about German intelligence, and they speak a bunch of gibberish back and forth and thoroughly confuse everyone in the room.
They do.
And
it was funny.
And they get through it once in a while by saying Sieg Heil, and everybody stands up and salutes and says Sieg Heil, and then they sit down and speak some more gibberish.
Gibberish to
And then
try.
when they don't know what to say, they say Sieg Heil, and everybody stands up and says Sieg Heil again. So
They're trying to buy time until their buddies get there to help them out. It's a comedy. It's got Phil Silvers, Jackie Gleason, and William Demarest, and they were all the director talked about their timing and how he was willing to work in some of their lines, you know, some impromptu, and actually Humphrey Bogart had a few cute lines too, but it was really a cool group of guys that made the movie fun, and it was all before all of them were big names, even Humphrey Bogart. So.
yeah, and William Demarest played his sidekick. Sunshine was his name, and you might remember him as Uncle Charlie from the show My Three Sons.
Right. And after this, Phil Silvers went on to have his own television show, and Jackie Gleason, obviously, you know, had the Honeymooners and then his own show.
Jackie Gleason was only 26 at the time of this, so it was very early in his career.
Yeah.
And Peter Lorre, who was in this movie, I think he was in several with Bogey, he was actually a Hungarian born,
Yeah.
and very good in that role. In fact, Peter Lorre and Kaaren Verne, the female star, were married for 5 years. We
Yeah.
found out. A couple of the things I learned about Bogey is that his father was a cardiopulmonary surgeon, and Bogey actually died at age 57 of esophageal cancer. His his son was 8 years old at that time. He was a heavy smoker and I think also a pretty hard partier. He was also served in the Navy. In 1918 he enlisted and later served also in the Coast Guard Reserve. And he was also selected by the American Film Institute as the greatest male star of American cinema. So that's a
Number
pretty big honor.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
that's our movie tonight, All Through the Night, in 1942.
And the name came from a song that his co-star, female co-star sang in the movie. She was an entertainer.
So what was your rating for the movie, dear?
I'm gonna give it a 3 because it was good. It was good. There weren't any inappropriate scenes, and the storyline was good. It was black and white, but it was fun. It was a fun movie to watch.
Yeah, and this is the second time we've seen this movie too,
Yeah.
and actually I hadn't remembered a whole lot about it until we actually got into the movie, but
Yeah.
it was good. I think I would give it a 3 also. We're looking forward to more Bogey movies coming up this week yet, so...
And it's kind of fun doing these reviews because it'll help us remember these movies too. So we're really enjoying this, and we hope that if you're watching us,
too.
you are too.
So that's it. Stay tuned
Yep.
next
For
time
the
for
next.
One Take Home Movie Reviews.
Yep.